What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of the podcast. I am Oscar, and with the usual dudes of Team ARG's Colin and Joe of Joe's Corner.
Hey, guys.
Speaking of, Joe has a new video coming up, I think in the next couple of days, right?
Yeah, it should be. I don't know if it's very good, but it's kind of like a lot of speculation. It's I don't want to say too much about it, but it's related to the GP and like what my top 8 kind of picks are going to be.
The Vegas WGBQ, I should say.
Oh,
and,
yeah, definitely.
Was that you were already recorded? That was that? Do you still hold to what you said in the video after the 1K results?
I
didn't actually see the 1K.
That's actually something we can talk about in this podcast. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But Joey, so you recorded it before the 1K results, and that wasn't so that's not influence. So everybody knows that going into it. But it should be up by Thursday, Friday, somewhere around there. Didn't want to do it too early and it'd be irrelevant or whatever. But there's that. And as usual, everything brought to us by Happy Little Hug Factory. If you want to visit them in the link in the description below, you can actually go and pick up some singles or even check out their Buylist and sell some cards off.
Yeah, and they have some pretty awesome stuff coming up as well, both of stuff that they've acquired and that they're making on their own. That's all I'll say for now, but just stay tuned. There's some going to be some really awesome stuff coming from them in the coming days. We'll tell you guys when it comes out, but yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Again, visit the link in the description below so they know we sent you. And if you ever have any issues where you think maybe a price is way too high, feel free to contact them and get a hold of them and see if that was a mistake or maybe something hasn't updated yet. But just so nobody freaks out when they see certain things. But also to patreon.com/TCG Scrubs. Our patrons are really awesome. We do a weekly Patreon podcast as well as some other patron only videos. It's like deck reviews, or deck analysis, I should say. Right, Colin?
Yeah, the deck analysis, which we forgot to record it last week. As a busy week, if you guys were following our channel, and it's basically because I got super sidetracked doing a lot of research and talking to a lot of people for the video that came out last week, which we'll talk about a bit in this podcast as well. But we'll fire up again. I think we have at least 2 decks to go over, so on Friday there should be a deck analysis. And following Friday as well.
So patreon.com/TCG Scrubs. You want to check that out. Some other cool stuff on the way over there as well. We'll get to that later. And I was going to say something. What's up, Joey?
I'm going through the top 8 Facebook posts.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. I wanted to cover a couple other things that I found throughout the week. So first of all, Colin didn't do a news, so he didn't show you guys these images. I'll start throwing them up on the screen. I'll just add these in.
Well, if it's what I think it is, it'll be on this week's news. So in 2 days, because I think this podcast comes out early. So in 2 days, I have it in my notes. But
anyways, I'm already talking about it right now, so I'm going to show you.
I'll just let you know, jeez.
It'll also be in the
because I assume it's not important.
And it's going to be the Basic Stones, which are promo Basic Stones coming from Europe, which are really cool. If you guys remember, they did something like this where it's like kind of based on European, what would you call it, landmarks from around the area. They did dual stones last time, and this time they're doing the Basic Stones, which makes sense because we're in a Basic Stone format, essentially. It's monocolor stuff.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. It'll be cool to see, like, if you say had a deck of 6 to 10 of those, it would look really pretty as you're flipping those over and stuff. So I hope they're not as expensive as dual stones. I don't think they would be, but yeah,
have to see that rarity on them, like how they're handed out. Another thing to take a look at, I found on accident. I was surfing the internet the other night, and I should have gone to bed early, but I was going to bed super late. And I found an artist who does Force of Will artwork. I think they did Schrodinger, the Parallel World Schrodinger, and a few others. That's kind of how I went down this found who did the artwork. But they had some unreleased Force of Will art that never got used, which I thought was really interesting. Had this dude, which is kind of cool. Had you could see like his American flag influence on his kind of way he's presented. And then we had
you had the theory that might have been artwork for like a Vingolf or something that didn't come to pass.
I thought about
because it would have.
If anybody who's been in the game long enough remembers, there was a point, and it was back when Jordan was still around, that he was actually talking about another Vingolf that was being worked on, and he made it sound like it had some progress on it. Now I know people don't like to believe him. They feel like he lied a lot, but this could have been true,
Really?
and then just fell through, and then it got scrapped. So as a result, people are like, oh, you lied about that. You know what I'm saying? But he just didn't know the full details, and maybe it just didn't come through.
And I think part of that is the artwork seemed like it would have lined up time-wise and stuff like that to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they might have taken that Vingolf based on his artwork and maybe re-engineered it into New Valhalla for the machines and stuff like that, based on the look of it and everything.
It definitely has
like
a
that.
futuristic look. I even thought that maybe it could have been, what was the other card game they were making? It could have been artwork for that.
Yeah, Architects. Or if they said that they were looking into Architect crossovers and stuff like that with Force Will, so it could have been some of that before. And they were starting to work on it like they were doing with the caster promos before they realized Architects wasn't happening and scrapped it pretty quick.
Yeah. Which is cool. We never got to play Architect. There was demo decks that came out through distributors, and I never got a hold of one, but that would have been cool.
We probably could if we tried.
Yeah.
They're pretty easy to get a hold of. So maybe we'll do that eventually. Be like, wow, look at this thing that almost was. Or no, it wasn't almost. It didn't get close, probably.
It never launched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just some cool artwork I just wanted to show off real quick. I'll probably use this as a thumbnail photo for one of this video. But yeah, so you want to go over top 8 real quick then, Joey? You already had it pulled up?
Yeah.
We'll go real quick.
Yeah, so 32-person event, I believe it was, or 37?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there?
It was 30-something is what I saw on Facebook. So first was Keurig, and second was Keurig, which is very surprising. The decks are similar.
Oh, and real quick, important to point out, I don't know if this was 100% confirmed, but I believe they did not play out top 8.
Yeah,
so just
this is Swiss Top Cut. So after the full day of rounds, how many rounds they did, this just won first through 8th place.
Okay.
Yeah, so very important note, especially when you get to a specific deck.
Got it. I could see that. Okay, so Keurig got placed first, technically in top 8. Second place was a Keurig. The differences I saw between those two were Ray the Dark Owl, since the other Keurig was playing black-red, and then the other one wasn't playing black-red. But
yeah,
I think he had. Did he have the black-red stones? I think he did still.
He just forgot to switch them out when he changed his deck or something.
He had Look of Corruption in the sideboard, which is it's pretty crazy.
Pretty
I honestly didn't think Keurig had the ability, but I mean, I guess
I don't think it does. But go on.
Yeah, it could have been, not a series. So the reason I was laughing was third place was a Gil by Quinn, I believe. Very interesting. I actually hadn't thought about Gil actually topping. Now that I think about it, it could find a section. One of the top comments is you need absolute awareness in order to not be cheated or body slammed. I was kind of cracking up that. Fourth place was Hanzo. Typical Hanzo deck. I don't think they basically added table flip and cut something or other.
What? How? Wow.
I think they cut
continue.
the Thousand Eyes or something else. I think they also cut the Magic Boomerang. It seemed like.
Okay.
Fifth place was.
It's basically what we predicted.
IU, yeah. Fifth place was IU, which I was curious whether or not IU could sneak by, but it seems like she still has a lot of potential to get in. Sixth place is another Hanzo. Pretty similar list. This is closer to the quick cast list that Aaron Miles was playing. Ryan Miles. I'm sorry.
Ryan Miles, yeah.
I apologize.
Same person.
It's
right?
got
to quote. Who was
Gamer
it?
Squared said had that same mix up, and one of them was the same person.
That one's pretty much just added a table flip, and basically everything else is kind of Ryan Miles list. Seventh place was Lucifer, which is interesting. I kind of go over that in my video, and eighth place is Arthur, which is very fascinating.
Which I have some comments about.
Yeah.
So, but it's cool to note 6 rulers in the top 8.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Granted, I said there's some interesting things to note in here that I'm curious how that'll play in the actual WGPQ coming up. One of them is Keurig. I don't think Keurig will make top 8 in WGPQ. I was surprised it made it here because I was telling Oscar, because we were talking about it. I forget what brought it up, but I was saying, I told Oscar, I think after this new set coming out with what they did with Brunhild and with Table Flip and Hanzo, I think Keurig is done. There's no reason a Hanzo with Table Flip or a fully functioning Brunhild should lose against a Keurig, in my opinion. So I was surprised to see 2 Keurigs in the top 8, but I don't see how Keurig outdoes Hanzo with cancels and Table Flips and Lorites and all the different stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like, I mean, these Keurigs ran a lot of resonators, so maybe they just had too many resonators for the Hanzo players to deal with. Obviously, Brunhild didn't even top 8, which I'm really surprised about. I personally felt that the 1-cost removal spell was just...
I heard the Brunhild decks were all a similar build, and it's not the build that people think is going to be the good one.
Okay,
is what I heard. I don't know if that's for sure or not, but that's just what I heard.
It looked like a black-white build, right?
Yeah, and there's no need for that with Brunhild, in my opinion. I mean, it's cool. I think the white-black build is really good, but I think the white build's better.
I agree when I told Colin this, like with Brandon Bremont, who will say on either Ruler School podcast or even in groups that, like US group, is that you got to go mono in the format. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no point like trying to do 2 colors because you're losing consistency when you do that.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a deck that can do 2 colors,
Easily.
which there's 1 or 2 that can do that.
Yeah, like IU, obviously, IU Time Spinning Witch and like Seeker Stone. There's
Speaking Stone. Yeah. So if you're that's only with specific cards, but it kind of works like that. Or you can run a black deck that splashes red, and you can get away with that.
Exactly. It's very rare.
The Arthur deck. So I'm really happy Arthur made it. I was looking at the deck though, and it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
When he told me about Mystery Box on the Rune deck, we laughed for a second. Like, wow.
Yeah, it's
Mystery
imagine.
Box Arthur.
Well, yeah, but you go against Hanzo and you pay 7 for Mystery Box, and they flip a 0-cost cancel. And but that aside, they also don't run maintenance. The 0-cost that puts 4 counters on resonators. They're running some weird choices. Only 3 Lancelots. I am of the opinion you should always have 4 Lancelots. There's no reason not to run 4 Lancelots. It's a 3-drop, buffs everything, destroys stuff, can wipe fields, and ignore things like Jean d'Arc. You can have 3 Jean d'Arcs on the field, and Lancelot wipes all 3 of them without even breaking a sweat. No reason to run less than those. And they run Mordred. Is that the one I'm thinking of? The 4-cost?
No, you're thinking of Merlin, right?
No. Mordred, the one that's like in a cockpit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I don't like that card. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I overlooked it, but I don't think that's a good card.
That good either. I will say though that I don't know if you can like attest to this, Oscar, because you said it looked pretty good, but I don't know how good it was. I played a machine deck versus him, and it seemed to work pretty well.
Machines are good.
But
I think this guy must be like a really good player.
Yeah, I mean he didn't bring a sideboard, so like that's pretty crazy.
I'm curious to see what his matchups were, because it's interesting. He didn't have a sideboard, and in my opinion, the deck isn't what I would call an ideal deck for machines. Inside of New Frontiers, but
that's interesting.
I don't know. He didn't run the Master Rune, which I thought was interesting. It's not great. His Master Rune is not great at all, but it's still worth running at least 2 of.
He ran the other Master Rune, didn't he?
Well, yeah. Wait, did he run the Master Rune?
I
don't think he ran any Master Rune.
No, he ran the 3-cost Master Rune, right?
In the main deck, though, not in the.
He ran 1 in the Rune deck and 2 in the main deck. Is what it looks like.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, I missed that. My bad then. No,
I'm pretty sure if I'm looking at the Gotcha correctly. Which, I mean, that card is really good, actually. Like, I was playing Oscar, and it's like, you divide, like, if you, say you get, like, 2 land slots out, and you already had, like, I don't know, like a slightly buffed Vivian or something, like that's like almost 2,000 damage. Like you can eventually get to like really quickly, and it's like divided as I actually thought it was pretty solid.
It's all right. Definitely could be better, but it works all right. It's definitely, yeah. It was pretty interesting. I'm glad Arthur made it in there. It's nice to see Arthur somewhere. So at least someone's giving him love outside of Force of Will.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's an interesting tournament that happened.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens at the WGPQ.
Yeah, and they even talked about like it's small sample size too, and they didn't have a top cut, so it's not definitive like what's the format look like, but it's looking good so far. Everybody's adventurous and trying different things out. There's no time spinning witches there. It's sad to not see Brunhild make anything near top, but I'm sure once again those really good decks start to get structured up, or even we see the results from Vegas, then it'll look brighter.
I think Brunhild will make it in the next the WGPQ, and I think we'll see Time Spinning Witches. I think people made a mistake not playing her at all, especially seeing some of the other decks people are playing. I think Time Spinning Witch, they're like, oh, without Time Distortion, she's not good. All she can get is like a 3-cost Mosasaurus. It's like, she's still good. She still does stuff, and she's one of the only decks that's really good at making consistent multicolor will. Yeah. And basically producing extra will per turn. Like, all of her features are really good still. So
she's still got multicolor will. She has really great removal with Dragonlord's Breath. She's got like crazy ramp with her 1-cost angel statues and stuff. And then she's got like Dinosaur Awakenings that she can pay for like really cheaply. Like,
yeah,
I think she has some great tools.
Yeah, I hope someone utilizes that, because just because she's not overpowered doesn't mean she's not strong.
Yeah. But speaking of the 1K, and this kind of rolls into the next subject about a video Colin release. Was it Friday?
It's good.
And that was going to be Quinn. Who is Quinn Kotecki?
And article as well.
Which the article has more information for those of you who want to read a little bit more, see maybe a video example situations. But you want to talk about that?
Yeah, if you guys missed it, I highly recommend watching it. It came out. I switched out the lens on my camera to make it look nice. I typed out an article, basically went over exactly what over in the video, but the article also goes into more detail in the sense of it has screen grabs that you guys can look at that goes into more detail of the actual stuff. And at the very bottom of the article is any updates to the story, which there are 2 as of right now. So basically, if you guys haven't watched the video, the quick long short was Quinn Kotecki was a player that was banned for 2 years for body slamming Alex Blandon, and he was unbanned 5.5 months early. And so I did a video saying he should not be unbanned early, and then I tried to make the case that they should also re-examine and potentially extend the ban longer, both because the physical assault should have warranted longer than a 2-year ban, and since he left Force of Will, which he cheated in multiple times, one of which was caught on video, which is one of the updates at the bottom of the article, the video of that, but he also went on to Pokemon, Final Fantasy, and Magic the Gathering, and was caught cheating in all 3 of those, and Magic the Gathering he did get a ban for as well for cheating.
So banned to like 6 months, right? Something.
No, it was 10 months, I believe.
Was it caught on video the Force Will cheating, or was that like Magic cheating?
Yes, I heard there was a Magic video, but I couldn't find it. And the gentleman who would have known, I couldn't get into contact with for various reasons. So.
Also
but apparently the one that one was what he got banned for. He cheated one dude. Then went on, did this other thing, which I think was caught on video or caught by a judge, and that's what he got banned for.
And also the Force of Will example is just an instance of him cheating in Force of Will, not the one that led to the body slam, but a moment of it.
Yeah, the video is a separate issue.
So it happens multiple times. It's not just like a one-time thing. And yes, I'm sure you could argue that Alex, who was the one who got body slammed, like instigated the situation to the point of the body slam, but the point was
probably
that he was discovered cheating. Yeah, he was discovered cheating, and the banning was over the body slam and not an actual anything had to do with the cheating or any investigation happening over the cheating.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because apparently the judges sort of dropped it because his opponent ended up winning, so it didn't matter at the end of the day. But so that was basically laying out that case. And worst case scenario, they don't the absolute worst case scenario is they keep him unbanned and also don't re-examine to try and extend the ban. Then at least I'm putting out this evidence so that people who go and play against Quinn and judges and stuff are aware of all of this and keep an eye out. Players are not afraid to call over judges, because that was a consistent theme of like, well, even players that could call over judges, I could go into a lot of detail. I did a lot of research, not all of it's necessarily in the article, but judges don't always handle the situations very well. It seemed to be a situation in some things, especially Pokemon. But so that was basically that. I was pretty happy with it. It seemed to have really good reception. Now it's going to happen. I'm going to say it anyways. As of right now, it has no dislikes. And on the video, which I was really happy about. Usually the videos I do get decent amount of dislikes. Doing good on all the platforms, Facebook, Reddit, all of that had a very positive reaction to the video. So I was pretty happy with it. I feel like I did enough research and laid out the case, and I was trying not to be too opinionated about it. Just lay out the case, and
it created some interesting conversations, some very positive. People knowing to be, very observant of their opponents, and also to keep an eye out for Quinn. But it also created some interesting ones of people trying to say things you were talking about were rumors and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, as far as people's reaction and conversations, it was cool seeing looked like most people agreed with me for the most part. Even more so than a lot of people were saying lifetime ban, which I wasn't necessarily advocating for that. I guess that came from my comparison to Anton getting a lifetime ban for essentially verbal abuse, and I was comparing that to physical abuse. And I don't think Anton should have gotten a lifetime ban. So I don't think necessarily Quinn should either. But I don't know. Well, you could probably convince me of it, but.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is like, it'd be probably considered like some form of like assault or like aggravated assault or something. So like, it definitely shouldn't be a lifetime ban, because like you're not like even getting jail time. Like you're not going to have a life sentence for jail. Like it should be somewhere like, if we're just going based on pure like comparisons, like have it comparable to a jail sentence. Like that's how many years.
Well,
I don't know.
Not necessarily, because in a card game it's a little bit different. So the way I look at it is, so he cheated in Force of Will in all these other games. People catch him, they go their separate ways after. And the one time he cheated and someone caught him out for it, there was the physical assault. So we don't know if there's a pattern for that. If he inevitably cheated again, and someone called him out for it, because now they have all this background information as well, so they feel pretty confident about that. Would that happen again? We don't know. And so in a trading card game, I feel like there's no reason to take that risk in certain circumstances. I don't know Quinn in real life, so maybe he's a cool guy and it was just that one time and stuff like that. So, but
the cheating is definitely like a separate issue that I think should be punished more in a card game than maybe not more, but it should be
and
like cheating should be obviously like I think should warrant like especially like confirmed cheating should be like quite long bans. The body slam should have been a longer ban. The cheating should have been in my opinion like maybe even a longer ban than I don't know.
And to be clear, the cheating with the situation I relayed in the video was not caught by a judge, but there is the one on video. Although it was resolved, but based on the dialogue and stuff, you can tell what the intention was. But and also, and I will say, because people were saying a lot of these are here. People might say these are here. Some of these are hearsay or circumstantial, whatever. And I will say I did enough looking into and asking around of different people that I can confidently say that they definitely happened. And there's also the theme brought up of cheating in other games doesn't matter. The other games don't look at, like, say, if he cheated in Force of Will, whether or not he's banned or not.
I don't know.
And that's the case. However, my point in the video wasn't that we should copy other card games. My point was that should 100% be taken into consideration. If someone goes and cheats in Pokemon, Magic, Final Fantasy, Force of Will, and then they want to come into your card game, you 100% should or take that into consideration. And that's not even what we're talking about. We're talking about someone who's banned for something, and one of the circumstances of his ban was cheating. And so, and during his interim of him not being in Force of Will, he cheated in other games. That 100% should be taken into account. I don't care if it's like, Force of Will, Magic, Pokemon. I think all card games, that should be something taken into account. Because, yeah.
Sorry. No. I didn't want to. You were on a roll. I didn't want to, like.
No, the last thing I was just going to say is because if someone cheats in Pokemon, it's not like they go to another card game, they're like, ugh, I can't cheat in this one. This one's way too cool. They're, obviously, if it's habitual, it's habitual. It's like, so that was I always thought that was a weird argument.
Yeah. It would feel to me like, you know, he got banned, he did something like akin to like parole, and then while he was on parole, he cheated. And like that means, you know, your sentence, you go back to jail. Like it's not something crazy where like, oh, like there's separate instances. No, like in the justice system and in like regular society, like if you're banned and you go on parole and then you cheat and you break your parole, you get thrown back in jail. Like you extend the sentence. I don't know. That's
and to be clear,
from lawyer Joey over here.
Yeah. And to be clear, this isn't a legal system, so they can keep his ban going longer and not worry about repercussions. They could ban a Joey because they don't like that he doesn't grow out his hair anymore, and they're perfectly fine to do that as a private company. So it doesn't have to be so exact.
Like there's an obvious like system in like society and everything that follows this, and like it wouldn't be even bad if Force Will like followed that. I don't know.
It is interesting though to see that physical assault is a 2-year ban while some other instances are 3-year bans. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I know what you're saying, Oscar.
Joe's
and it was and it was weird also, as you guys saw in the video and article, and I had mentioned that this was super weird. And to be clear, this did not. I assume this, but it was further clarified that this was not the reason they unbanned him early. But one thing that Force of Will had mentioned was good behavior as part of the unbanning him early, which if that didn't contribute, why mention it? But also, I just felt that was super silly. Like, oh, if you're good behavior, it's super easy to have when you're not allowed near the card game. It's super easy to be nice to someone if you can't be within 100 feet of them. You physically can't be mean to them. So are you telling me that, I haven't seen one of those Facebook posts from Anton in a while. Are they going to consider that and unban him earlier? Like, I thought that was just a silly thing to add. But to Oscar's last thing he said, which is what he wanted me to talk about, was after I posted that, there was the post about how, hey, there's a rumor going around that Quinn was unbanned, and it was from Robert, the head of the U.S., and he said there was a rumor going around that he was unbanned and that this is not true, that he's still banned. Which, for the record, as of right now, we don't know which one is correct.
Well, I thought it was interesting that he says it's a rumor. You came back with a defense like of, well, I got it from the company, this and this. These two different things are confirming it's right. And he's like, well, yeah, but I'm gonna make sure it doesn't happen. Like, there's a difference there, Robert. That you changed it from a rumor to being true, but you're changing it. That means it's no longer a rumor. You're fixing the situation.
If he came out and was like, hey, there's a thing, I mean, he doesn't. I don't know why he beat around the bush. There's a video that just came out that said Quinn's unbanned. Just want to let you guys know. Don't worry. I'm making sure that doesn't happen. He's not unbanned. But the fact that he said it's rumor made it look like, in my opinion, that
you had no credibility.
I was. I made this video trying to get some clicks because I heard there was a rumor going around. Which, if that was the case, let me tell you, there'd be a lot more videos I'd be making based on rumors. I did a lot of research. I triple, quadruple verified that this was correct. I'm not the only one upset about that, by the way. But it felt super weird to come out and be like, that's a rumor. And then, as Oscar said in the comments, be like, oh yeah, it's for sure happened. But like, why call it? I think he called it a rumor twice, I think, in the post. So I didn't like that, but obviously there was no malicious intent, but that I know of, but it was just it felt like I put a lot of effort in that video, and to felt like it was just dismissing it.
It was dismissing it.
And article takes a long time to type stuff, guys. Especially with the system on the website is fudged up so hard.
It takes an equally long time to go through and edit a very choppy.
I had to join so many trading card. I had to join several trading card groups, guys, and be that weird guy who joins and then does a random post in them, and then start messaging people. Yeah, I had to be that guy, and I hate being that guy, but I did it for you guys to confirm that these rumors were correct.
Even hit people up who turned them down. Like, I have no idea what you're talking about, even though we know they did, which was interesting.
I thought it was. I
got a post locked out. I got one of my posts instantly locked out. It was pretty great.
I thought personally, myself, I thought it was a great article. It was really good, like journalistic, like integrity. Like, you know, you went after you sourced a lot of stuff. Like, you know, by the end of it, I was obviously convinced that, you know, you shouldn't be back in Force Will. And my main the main thing that I like is that you weren't coming at it as like accusatory, or it was just like, hey, like, I'm concerned about this. Like, this is a thing that I think we should be looking at. Like, I didn't think you were didn't come across to me like you were trying to like stir the pot or anything, or, you know, doing like that.
Yeah,
hey, this is.
I tried to make. I tried to make sure everything was verifiable. If there's, I think there was at least one or two instances I came across that I couldn't verify, so they're not in there and stuff. So I tried to make sure that I kept it to the point. So, because it's like when, like, I won't give specific examples, but if there's like a famous person or something that someone doesn't like, and they're like do attacks on them or whatever, but all the attacks are false, and it's like, why are you doing that? There's clearly stuff you can attack them on that's real. Why go to the false stuff? And so I tried to like hold to that of like holding to the real, because there's no reason to go off of the kind of rumor stuff or stuff that might be false when I already have a pretty solid footing in the real stuff. So I at least attempted to adhere to that. But yeah, we well, unless there's anything else you guys want to talk to, we can move on to Jeff as well. I don't want to shortchange Jeff.
Let's talk more about rumors, guys.
Let's go ahead and go on to Jeff now. So, which I guess contains some rumors that because there's so much speculation. I guess that's really what it is. So there was
I just actually to segue it nice. As I was telling Oscar, it was pretty hilarious because the Quinn video was getting a decent amount of coverage and views. It was good, tick 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 tick. It got to a certain point, and this news with Jeff came out. Stopped, like dead hard. Stopped. It's gotten like 20 views since this information came out, and it's been like over a day or 2 days or whatever. I was like, geez, it's just like,
yeah.
So there's your segue.
So to segue over is a post kind of came out of nowhere. It was Friday night. Colin and I were going to play some games, and right before we did anything,
set the scene.
Set the scene. He said, "Oh my God, did you see the post?" I'm trying to pull up the post so we can read it word for word. For anybody who didn't see it, there's an official post from the Force of Will Facebook page, which came from Jeff, and here it is. It says, "Hello, rulers. Jeff here. As of February 1st, I will no longer be part of Force Will HQ. The global liaison position will be no more, and the company is not looking to fill it going forward. More details in the coming days. For any questions and support, please use the contact form located here." And it's just a website with about/contact. Good game, everyone. That post currently has 87 comments on it.
Yeah, and a lot of sad reacts.
Mm-hmm.
One of those comments is mine.
I was kind of laughing how I think it was last podcast. Colin and I were like, man, Jeff is such a good guy. Like, and Colin's like, I compliment Jeff a lot because I want the company to keep him around. And then like a week later, it's like, nope.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking about that too. Like, we just finished doing this whole like session, like circle jerk around Jeff, and then just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was very, I was genuinely very sad reading that.
Yeah, no, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. It definitely sucked to see happen. Of course, a lot of speculation started to shoot up as to whether it pertained to the Rudy videos. In which case, wasn't there a post from him saying that the company really liked the first video? So
you didn't find it?
Yeah. So I was like, I
here, let me pull it up.
that it was that case at all. I don't think it had anything to do with that.
It seemed like, obviously, you can go one way and like more conspiracy theorists on like, oh no, Jeff's just saying that because he doesn't want to burn bridges, or you can go like, oh no, Jeff's being very truthful. Like nothing he said in the Rudy video was like that bad. A lot of people are saying like, oh, he was too transparent, so that's why he's getting booted.
Before you read it, to respond to Joey there, I feel like that people saying it's too transparent was pertaining to that first video. That second video didn't say anything that I seemed critical. It seemed more critical in the first video, which had the good reception to it.
Yeah, probably.
So it's posted in the U.S. group, which has 126 likes or reactions. He said, "Hi, lovelies. I'm not dead. I'm certainly not going to stop playing anytime soon. I love Force Will. Nothing I did got me in any trouble. Ha ha. Rudy is an awesome guy, and I'm glad I could reach out. Everyone that understands what I do at headquarters loved it. I'll post more in a couple days, but I'm taking a short break from Facebook. Heart emoticon." So, that was obviously directly in response to everyone speculating that it might be that his Rudy videos or anything like that was just like, hey, he was specifically not let go from anything he did. Nothing Jeff did made him go. Just to clear that up.
If we're gonna take him at face value, that's definitely what it is. If we're gonna
well, he in the comments he said, "I don't lie, guys." For anyone that was questioning,
and beyond him saying that, I feel like there is no reason for him to lie. There's no reason for us to not believe him in this situation.
Yeah,
he's not part of the company. He doesn't have to save face for them. And not like he did even when he was part of the company.
And to anybody who is newer to the card game, maybe coming in from Rudy videos, from whatever hype that could be surrounding. For those who don't know, he works full time. He's a full time teacher. He did this as well on top of that, and he has his own personal life he has to lead. So it's not a huge surprise to see him.
One of the things I thought, is he married yet? I don't remember.
No.
Okay. That was one of my speculations. Like, maybe this
is Joyce shipping already?
I feel like he had made reference to a significant other. So.
I thought so too, but I don't. Maybe.
But I don't remember hearing the wife.
Anyways, beyond that,
too much towards I thought maybe
this
is just taking up too much of his time, and I don't know.
Oh no, yeah, it probably is taking a lot of his time, but I think the main takeaway is that now I exit out of it. The impression I got was he did not leave, though. It could have been a mutual thing, but my impression from both his posts, was that the company let him go. Obviously, this is all speculation, guys. We're not saying it definitively. But also, my biggest takeaway was that the company was not filling that position. That was the biggest takeaway for me, was that this super successful thing, in my opinion, because Jeff has been really good at reaching out, not only to getting all of our voices heard, pretty successfully, it sounds like, but also at making sure cards stayed balanced, at promoting his Rudy video. We tangibly saw people coming into the U.S. group starting the game around the time the Rudy video came out, which you could extrapolate that pretty easily.
He had to reach out in these situations. He reached out to Rudy to try to get that to happen on his own behalf. He paid for advertising on Facebook to get the game out there and to get their posts visible, things like this, just to become.
And he's the one who reached out to us and Ruler School and stuff to get us Negative Legend, to get us booster boxes to open ahead of time to get that hype going for the set, which is super smart. So that was all him, and so he was pretty invaluable as far as getting the game to keep on growing.
Yeah, and a good example of helping balance the game. He's the one who pushed for that Sherry Band to hit. He's the one who, leading up to before her Sherry Band, helped throttle her down with some bands of support. He fixed one of the examples of before it came out was the Dark Outlaw didn't have the once per turn clause in it. Period. He had to come in to make sure that was added to it. So it's sometimes seeing that it's a little bit concerning, but I'm hoping there's plans in place to help prevent these things going forward, since he won't be part of that anymore.
He also stopped the whole table flip shenanigans 2 days after it.
He was super quick to make sure it being hugely impactful.
Yeah. So Even if they filled the position, I don't know if anyone would be as proactive as Jeff was, especially for stuff like that with the table flip and all that. But to know that they're not filling it, period, is very, very disheartening for me for what they have going on there. So I'm really curious on what Jeff's post will be in a couple days, because I don't know if it was Jeff or who, but not a good idea to post that you're leaving and the position is being dissolved and then peace out for 2 days while everyone speculates and freaks out. So I'm not sure why that's the case. Why not just wait a couple days and do one big post, and so no one knows what's happening, and then, hey, I'm leaving, here's why, here's what's going on. So I'm curious why that lined up like that.
I see what you're saying.
But so yeah, I'm pretty sad and upset. Like we said before, Jeff did a lot for the game, and you could go on the Facebook US group and see all the posts people did. I did a couple 10th Doctor memes. So
spoilers for Joey though.
Oh, Joey.
The only thing
you
I
need
know
to
is the whole
Joey.
thing. I don't want to go, or I don't want to. No, it is. I don't want
Joey.
to go. Anyways, yeah.
You need to go watch.
I know.
But yeah, that's all we have for the week. Shorter podcast than normal, I think.
This has been a sad week.
Yeah. Lots of change probably coming up. We'll see what happens. We'll keep eyes peeled, ears open, and see what posts come out, and make sure to address them as soon as we can. Either Colin or all three of us have a situation.
Yeah, keep it on, or especially this upcoming week or two. Just trust me. Make sure you keep an eye on our channel. I've never said this before, but I'm going to say it now. If you're subscribed, or if you're not, make sure hit that bell on there so you can get a notification. Because we'll try, and if news or different things come out, we'll try and just do impromptu off-the-cuff videos that aren't all, and just get them released so you guys know what's happening, especially if you're not on Facebook or anything like that.
And that's something I always never liked saying. I feel like if you guys liked our content enough, you'd come look for us. But in this situation, with the way this news is unfolding, it'd probably be a better idea to do it for the time being.
And you can unclick the bell after 2 weeks. But I think in the next 2 weeks, I'd say click the bell.
Yeah. But thank you guys for listening, for watching. You can get a hold of us through the usual avenues of like Twitter and Facebook, Discord. All links are in the description below. Let us know what you think, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah.
See you on the mini podcast.